Welcome back, everyone. It's Cornelia Stephanie, and I have with me Amy Deanne. Welcome back to the show, Amy.
Thanks so much. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
I want to let the audience know, give a little background about your bio. You have dedicated your earlier years to being a mom and a wife, and after facing separation and ultimately a divorce, after 29 years of marriage, you realized for the first time that you didn't know who you were. And like many other mothers, you had put your own wants and needs aside so that you can raise your children. Now that your children are adults and no longer depending on you as they once did, you found yourself on a unique self-discovery journey. And while you're continuing your career in corporate America, you also sought an outlet for your creativity and you started a side business called Resilient. Initially, you was created as a craft venture. Resilient has evolved into something much more meaningful. You are also an author of a contributing chapter to the Amazon best-selling book called Shine Your Light. And that was the cherry on the top of your healing journey. And now you focus on connecting with women across multiple platforms, empowering them to discover their truest selves. You exemplify the idea that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, which is what you're continuously modeling to us, right?
I am certainly working on
You keep showing up and you keep
Right.
inspiring us with your series right now. This is what we're doing with this podcast series. You've been on, today is the fifth one in this series, and it's called Finding Your Truest You. An authentic guide. No, it's a guide to becoming your authentic self, right?
Yes.
And then let's talk about the last five. So what's today's? What's
So
today?
today is talking about staying the course.
Staying.
So each one of these actually spell out the truest you. So the first one that we talked about was trusting yourself, trusting your gut instincts, trusting the little voice in your head. The second one we talked about, the R, was recognizing that everyone's journey is different. We're not on the same path. We're all going to take different paths. And so everyone's journey is different. The third one was unlearning a negative mindset, get out of the stinking thinking, get on a positive track. And last week, of course, number 4 was embracing your authenticity. So, which I really, really love because that's kind of the whole premise behind this whole thing. So, today is stay in the course.
Staying the course. And so tell us a little bit more about staying the course. What does that mean?
So it means not giving up.
Ah,
You're staying in there. You are continuing to take that journey that you were meant to take. And it's really hard not to give up. Things get hard. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have those roadblocks. You're going to have those things that you want to throw up and, throw up your hands, throw in the towel. And that's my whole premise behind this chapter and behind this discussion is staying the course. It's imperative that you stay on your journey and keep progressing forward. Don't give up.
right. Don't give up. A lot of people they give up right before the miracle happens, so to speak, or they don't see the results fast enough, and so they throw in the towel and they give up. And so it's really important to stay the course, and we also need the little reminders. So, do you have a practice of something that you do to stay the course, to remind yourself when things get hard, or do you have people in place that you call? Do you have a coach in place, or do you have what is it that you do that helps you stay on course?
All of the above, actually. I One of the things that's great is to set smaller goals for yourself. Don't just look at I want to get from this point to this point. You don't jump from A to Z. You want to set smaller goals for yourself. So something that's attainable, something that's achievable, something you can reward yourself with. Whether it's okay, I have gone this length of time and I am okay with being alone. I've spent my time alone. I'm, filling my time. I'm learning to love myself. I'm enjoying being alone or things like that. So set yourself little small goals. And that's one of the ways that I kept going and kept going and reward yourself. It's like, all right, I have not reached out to anybody. I have not done this or done that. I've enjoyed the quiet. I've enjoyed the still. That was one of the things that really, it was hard for me to get used to, but that helped me in my progress. And staying the course means, doing those uncomfortable things, doing those things that build resilience.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't that interesting? We think it's uncomfortable to be by ourselves and be still,
right? Well,
right?
especially when you're coming from the environment of running around with your kids and cooking dinner and doing all of the things that you would do as a wife and a mom and the things that I did for 29 years. It's like, it is weird. It feels weird when you're like, okay, I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be still. I don't even know. I don't know how to do this. And I didn't know how to do it.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I guess yeah, I can't relate to that. So that's why I'm going, but I guess coming for somebody, that's coming from your perspective of what you had to deal with, I guess I can see that, you're running around doing all these things and then all of a sudden you don't have that anymore. And it's like now, yeah, it's just me.
It was frightening at first, but
Mhm.
it was good to stay the course and keep on and keep on and keep on doing that thing. So eventually I enjoyed it. Eventually I liked that time.
So earlier when you were telling us about, how we started of all the parts that we've covered so far, like today's part 5, it feels to me like every single one of them of what you talked about is like um a practice in itself. So like even, staying the course for 21 days, staying the course for, a practice like putting a time frame around it and then to kind of revalue, even embracing your authenticity. If you can embrace your authenticity for 21 days, right? They say it takes 21 days to change a habit. I think that all, sounds like a good thing to do. What do you think?
I agree. I agree that you're exactly right when they talk about taking a certain amount of time to build a habit because um, it's easy to give up. It's easy to not stay the course. It's easy to say, okay, well, for 2 days I've sat in silence after work. I don't like this. I'm going to give up. And it was. I did try to give up a few times. I'm like, all right, I'm calling. I'm going somewhere. I'm going to go sit in a bar. I'm going to go do this or do that. So I'm not listening to the silence.
Yeah, and I think this is so important in really finding your truest you. Even if you're practicing, getting off social media for a while, getting off the scrolling, really listening to that still voice within and building that, So yeah, it can be hard.
It
It can be
was, and it
hard
was
because
frightening.
yeah. Yeah, it can be hard because, it's like, yep, leave that space empty and see how you feel inspired to move, right? What are you feeling called to do, on your own?
That's the best way to build confidence. That's the best way to figure out what you like. That's the best way to find your truest you is to sit with yourself, sit in that silence, listen to that small voice, trust your feelings and your gut instincts. And so it's kind of all of a combination of everything. But staying the course is important because if you stop, you kind of have to start all over. It's kind of like going to the gym. You're working out and you those first few days, your muscles hurt so bad. You're like, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm not doing this, but you got to keep on, got to keep going and keep going. And then eventually it's easier. It's a little easier and it's a little easier. And then you form that habit and then you want to go to the gym regularly. So it's very similar.
Yeah, that's why I think, having like a 21-day goal or something like, for each part that you're teaching here, that you're inspiring is, to do that because it really does, in about 3 weeks, if you go to the gym for 3 weeks, in about 3 weeks, you're going to start noticing a
Mhm.
few changes. You're going to start seeing it. So you're going to start feeling better. But like you said, those first couple times, it's going to be difficult. But, it's like become your own hero and don't give up on yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and now is the time. So how is your life these days? being a busy, you're still working for a corporate, you're also writing, and you're doing, you've got a ranch farm kind of place, right? That you're tending to, and you've got a beautiful relationship. So how is your life unfolding with all these things?
Well, I do find myself still filling all of those hours and moments and whatnot. And I've learned, especially during the week, because I only typically go and visit my boyfriend over the weekend. I learned during the week, and this is probably the best time for me. You kind of have to pick and choose your time depending on your schedule. But during the week, after I come home, after I eat with my mom, then I spend time in my room. I have a devotional, I journal, I spend time quiet. I read whatever book that I might be reading at the time. And so I really still try to have that practice, even though I do have a lot going on and I do have a lot of irons in the fire and I am trying to accomplish a lot. It's still important to do that. It's still important to keep that practice.
Yeah, it's kind of like a self, it's like a relationship with the self that is primary. And it's a loving devotional, like you said. And I think that even if couples had that in their relationships, even couples that were living together in one place, it's nice to have your own room and go,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
and have that private time so that you can really listen to yourself and nurture yourself because what your partner may want to do, it's just different when you're by yourself.
It is. It is very different. But, we do a great job when I visit with my boyfriend over the weekend. We do a great job, especially during football season. I will spend some time watching some sports with him. And then if it's not something I want to do, he's doing his thing. I go into another room and I'm working on a series that I'm going through, whether it's Outlander or whatever. So I'm doing my thing. Whether I'm sitting in the quiet, I'm watching my movie, watching my series, we still spend that time away from each other, not connected at the moment, doing our own thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes he goes into his room and really jams on his guitar. And so that gives him an opportunity to go do his thing, something he enjoys doing. He can fill his soul with music because he's really into that. And so it's good. It's good to have those things even when you are together.
Well, I think, what you discovered through your journey is you discovered yourself, you connected with yourself, and now you're bringing that connected self to all the people that you relate with, including your partner,
Yes.
right?
And it's so
So,
much healthier.
yeah. So that is it sounds wonderful the way that you guys are doing it. And it's kind of nice to, um see each other on the weekends. You know, it seems great. What do you want to say to the audience today in staying the course?
In staying the course, cut yourself some slack, first of all. Set up little small milestones so that you can accomplish things little bites at a time so you're not biting off more than you can chew. And the one thing that I didn't say is get an accountability partner. Get someone who you can be accountable to that will hold you accountable to when you want to give up. They're going to say, "Oh, no, you're not. No." They will actually, I had a couple of those during my journey and it was great. My cousin was one and it was so good. She's like, "You don't even know what you're talking about." And she was, it was very good for me to vent to her or use her as my accountability partner because she didn't cut me any slack.
Yeah. And, I'll say this is if you need a coach, which sometimes, we all need coaches in various different things, you get a coach and you get somebody to coach you and you pay that person
Right.
to, support you and keep it professional as well. So there's all kinds of ways, but the bottom line is this is your life. You came here to, discover your truest you. And now is the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Amy, let's tell everyone how they can find you on social media.
My-resilient-journey.com is my website. And you can check out previous podcast interviews with you. The previous ones are out there. And also on Instagram and Facebook, it's AMEYDEANNE or Resilient TX.
Excellent. Well, I'm so loving how the progression is moving forward. I hope that you're feeling the same way.
I do. I do. I'm so excited.
It's so great. And I hope that you, the beloved audience, are loving it as well. Thank you so much for listening and tuning into the Cornelia Stephanie Show. We wish you a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you again next week.